It's the economy, stupid. Everybody remember that. The president's economic policies right now will surely be on everyone's mind when they head to the polls in November, despite the hundreds of millions of dollars being spent that you just heard about. Inflation, probably going to be one of the top issues facing voters right now, and the administration dangerously about to find out that you just can't print a bunch of money because it always costs somebody something. Joining us now, Director of Senior Initiatives from FreedomWorks Foundation, Clara Del Villar. Welcome. Appreciate you being here.
Good morning, Carl. I'm delighted to be here. Thank you for having me.
So you wrote this piece, actually, it's a very good piece. And in it, you said plunging currencies in Europe and the United Kingdom are clear signs of a global market concerns and over their energy crisis, stagflation, and economic stability. My question to you is, with Europe basically tanking, their energy policies set the stage for that. Is America that far behind them?
I think you raise a critical point, Carl. If I could point to one concern I have here, one major one, it's the energy policies that are destroying Europe. Germany and the UK just announced they're going to be subsidizing electricity prices. The United States, with all of its energy resources, are being blocked from utilizing them to provide low-cost energy, and those costs are seeping into all the inflation data that everybody's seeing. But right. American households don't need to hear that from the data. They see it every day.
Right, and Nord Stream 1, even though it only provides about 3 to 5% of the energy to Europe, you take away 3 to 5% when you have no margin anyway, it's a lot more than 3 to 5% effect. The bigger issue, too, is we've seen this in Great Britain, where you can't get a mortgage right now. If you owned a home, it's worth 20% less than it was a week ago. This is unconscionable to me. The fact that small businesses are paying an increase of 10 times more for their energy. Is there an end in sight? Is there any way to solve this, and what is it?
Well, I think on the one hand, I think the Federal Reserve is raising interest rates, which is what they need to do to combat inflation, Carl. Without combating inflation, you'll have millions and millions of basically low-income and middle-income Americans really suffering through persistent embedded inflation, which is really making its way in every single product that we use and every single service. Yeah. So I see interest rates probably staying on the higher side, but historically you're looking at 7% mortgages are basically 6 to 7% are historically average, but it's very painful to go through the process. The most critical thing I think we need to do is address the energy resource issue because it's seeping and staying into the inflation data and costs from food to basically certainly transportation and more. So if we don't address that, the political leadership and the markets are indicating crisis of confidence in the administration. Right. That's really what's happening right now.
We mentioned 7% mortgages. You're right. They're not historically out of whack. I mean, they've happened many times. We've had mortgage rates as high as 20, 30% in the past, depending on who you are and what your credentials are, under Paul Volcker coming out of Jimmy Carter and into the early Reagan years. However, the question is the delta. Being 2% to 7% in less times than it takes to microwave a hot dog almost.
Definitely. I think the Federal Reserve should have started this process last year. I think their delay was somewhat political in nature, and essentially it's really cost Americans a lot with the shocking increase that's happened in such a short period of time. So I can't hesitate to say I think that policy was misled, but what's happening now is you're still seeing inflation numbers abnormally high, Carl. So the personal consumption expenditures just came in, and they're really averaging close to 7%. Right. So we really aren't seeing inflation come down dramatically. It often never does. So if you compound that, we're going into the fall season now, we're in fall, and you're going to start seeing increasing electricity prices and natural gas prices. So I think if we don't address that issue now, and if the administration really doesn't do something about continuing to provide cheap energy to Americans, we have a big problem.
Yeah, well, the underlying cause is, you're absolutely right. Everybody needs to start providing energy and drop this garbage green stuff, because it's not. It's a nice. It makes you feel good, but what that gives you the real sads is not being able to heat your home in the winter like we're seeing in Europe.
We can care about the climate, we can care about the environment, but there's no technology available to make renewables scalable to the extent that natural gas can do that.
Real quick, I got about 20 seconds left. We got to have to raise interest rates to match inflation. That's historically what has been done in order to break this back. We got to stall the economy Do you think they continue to trickle up, or do you think they should just say, hey, we're dropping a 5%, 500 basis point increase right now, and we're going to get it over with? What do you think they should do?
I think they've moved significantly already. So they basically moved 3.5 percentage points. So I think a little bit more instead of a huge move right now will be really essential, because what we have are some fiscal issues, Carl, that are really going to hurt Americans, not the least of which, by the way, this national debt, $31 trillion, is going to see debt servicing. That's going to really hurt the markets. So I think you really have the ball now is in the administration's court, and we need some action.
And that's the point, is most people say, well, historically we did this or that. It's like, historically we didn't have $30 trillion in debt. So Clara Del Villar, we appreciate it. Great piece, by the way.
Thank you very much, Carl. I appreciate the time.
No crooked establishment.
None of that twisting the
truth.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax.
Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think.
They let
me decide.
Newsmax.
Real news
For real people.